and Usman Sanko have gathered over the years. Bassirou Faye eventually became the president of Senegal, and he was sworn in on earlier this week, Tuesday, the second day in the month of April, year 2024. Of course, the events witnessed the presence of so many leaders from the African continent, including the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, let's get straight to discussion. Like I said, my guest right here with me in the studio, I have with me Mr. Desumbo Badijoko, a public affairs analyst as well as a media consultant. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, our listeners. Happy weekend, everyone.
Thank you so much. And of course, I'm being joined in this conversation by Mr. John Njoku, a public affairs analyst. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Israel, for having me, and to our listeners, happy days.
Thank you so much, Sas, for joining me on the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's take off with this political development in Senegal. Bassirou Faye is now the youngest president in Africa, elected president now. And of course, he took over the reins of power earlier this week, the second day in the month of April, year 2024. And of course, the question would start off with the fact that, 44 years of age, now the president of a nation, as compared to what we have in some other countries in the African continent. Starting off with Mr. Adesumbo Badijoko, your reaction to this development in Senegal?
It's a welcome development. Senegal happens to be one of, I think, two countries in the whole of Africa that have enjoyed civil rule right from independence. Senegal got her independence in 1960. The other country is Kenya. And if you look at these two countries, they've had political development over the years. They've done series of democratic experiments. They've had got to adjust their tenure of office like 3 times in Senegal that we're talking about. And that's why, even though the country is going to be 64 years, this is the 5th president they have had. And Nigeria, who is a age mate, is having the 16th president. And we've had our own share of military incursion into government twice. When I say twice, I mean distortion to democratic rule on 2 occasions. And we can only count our own democratic life from 1999. Why Senegal can count hers from 1960. So you've had the country evolving politically. Population-wise, they are much, much smaller than Nigeria. So it means, and you have a youth population. So you have that level of political development, youth population. Of course, you know that in terms of holding government accountable, there will be a limit. And of course, some of them too had grown to know nothing else but civil rule. Bassirou Faye's grandfather was a war veteran and a political agitator under the colonial government of France. His father was also a politician, an active one as that. So he grew up with that political blood inside of him, had education, studied law, ended up in the government system. And because he worked in the tax office, he had seen the corruption in the government live and clearly. His legal background gave him understanding of how to run governments. And of course, he has had his own political experience too. 2 years before now, he contested the mayorship and lost under that same political party. So, but the party came up with an ideology that is anti-France, and is coming at a time where Francophone Africa are beginning to get tired of the French domination. So anything that is not French, the people are embracing. And don't forget, we have revolution taking place in neighboring countries like Mali.
We have French.
You understand? Where you have French colonies as well as Guinea. So when you have all these developments, it's already prepared the ground for political development as such. And now when you have young people with their dynamics and vibrancy coming to address youth population, you know that even though the government tried to incarcerate them by putting them in prison, you understand, Sonko, who was the initiator of the whole movement, couldn't scale through. But Faye, that had been the partner along the line, saw the opportunity. And for clarity, he actually ran as independent because the party was disbanded. And they have room for independent candidature. But the movement are there and the structure supported his independent candidature. And he was also fortunate, the penultimate president too, Abdullah Wade, who was trying to promote his own son too, supported him. The son stepped down, and some other political candidate in the election too, because they saw that, he has a brighter chance, and if they don't form that coalition, they will not be able to defeat the incumbent. And of course, it shouldn't surprise anybody when he eventually won by naming his friend, and of course, the visionary, the prime minister, which the law permits him to do anyway. So now we have a partnership of the two of them running the government. We wish them well. We wish they will be able to now put the vision, because they are leftish orientation, which means they are more of socialists in their ideology. And this is a country that has been colonized with capitalist ideas. So there's going to be a shift in the political and economic development of that country. And they are going to be trying to spread the wealth of the nation to as many people as possible, which would be a welcome development. And for young politicians all over Africa, they should see that this thing is possible, especially countries that are democratic in nature. And for old politicians who are sitting tight, they should be learning from there too that, you cannot perpetuate yourself in leadership position for life. There will be a time where you will be boxed out, but it will do you a lot of good if you will bow out honorably. You don't have to put up a fight like Macky Sall tried to do. You understand? And just bow out honorably if you know that the pendulum must swing against you. So that's the intro I'll give.
All right, to Mr. John Njoku, your own reaction to this development in Senegal. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, 44 years of age, now the president of Senegal.
Let me just congratulate my colleague here, and I will start from where he has stopped. It's unprecedented in the history of Africa that this type of thing will happen. And just like he has said, I think it is the time. I think they've decided this French colonies, we are not going to be part of it. But my own happiness is that the judiciary in that country actually performed well, because the former president, this election was to be conducted in March. It was intriguing, and there were a lot of condemnation, there were a lot of intrigue, there were a lot of tension in Senegal. Why this until he has to go to court? He wanted the election to be held. But thanks to the judiciary that came in and said, no, you cannot have it. If the judiciary had ruled otherwise, this election wouldn't have gone. So my greatest happiness goes to the country's judiciary for putting that rule of law. Because it is the law that, there being a democratic nation, people expected you to fall in line with the rule of law. And so it was the judiciary that created what we have seen, or what the Senegalese people have been able to say. Until you're looking at the man, I'm talking of the barrister Faye, he appears to have this intention from beginning, coupled with his friend. More so, both Faye and Umar Sanko have the same ideology. Bird of the same feathers, they flock together. So they happen to have the same ideology. And thanks to the Senegalese youth too, who are ready to say, this is the person that we want. 10 days after release, people still say, this is our man. So it means the youth can get to anywhere they want with that genuine consciousness in them. Because in any countries of the world today, the youth control or constitute more than 60 or 70% of those who are really going out to vote. More so you begin to look at the religion. Senegalese, I want to say, are predominantly one Islamic religion. So the issue of ethnic, that it does not even arise there.
All right, so I'm also enjoying this conversation this morning by Mr. Benjamin Faye Jimmy Ayomide. He contested for a place in the Oyo State House of Assembly under the platform of the Labour Party during the 2023 general election. Of course, Oyo State constituency. He's 25 years of age. He was 25 years of age at that point. So now you're about 26 now.
26, yeah.
All right. So I'm also being joined in this conversation by Mr. Faye Jimmy Benjamin Ayomide. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, It's good to be back here again.
Yes, good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
So you're a young politician.
Yeah, sure.
So how did you feel when you got this news that Bassirou Faye, 44 years of age, has now been sworn in as the president of Senegal when he was elected in the first place?
Okay, let me start by saying that this has been what we've been praying for, and now it's happening right in Africa, and I believe we have to follow suit too in Nigeria. We have been trying our best. We have been engaging youths, have been encouraging them to engage in politics right from tender age, right from the scratch, based on the non too young to run movement that was endorsed by former President Buhari. Yeah. So based on that, and then we've seen someone like me too, based on that endorsement, gave me a platform to also run the last election, the 25 years contesting for the House of Assembly election in Oyo State, being the youngest candidate. That gave me the platform. So seeing things like that happening in Senegal, I think it's a very big boost for us as youth to also try to do more in coming elections.
So, okay, back to I was thinking back to you, Mr. Fejimi, but then to Mr. Adesumbo Badejoko, do you see this happening in Nigeria anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, but the process has begun. My brother said he contested the last election. There wasn't fortunate, but the election before him, there was a 26-year-old that was elected in the same state assembly. Talking about Lekan Yusuf or so. So when that, it was even the first set of beneficiary of the not too young to run law, which gave them the platform, and he emerged victorious and is there now for his second term. So I wouldn't know the constituency he contested on
Southwest.
Southwest. I think that's where the guy probably had defeated him. But the thing is, the process has begun. In the last election, we had a 40-year-old presidential candidate. That's the candidate of the Accord Party. He was 40 and a professor at that. You understand? And the previous election, we had two 47-year-old presidential candidates. So we've been having young people making attempts. The issue has been that at that level of that youth population, the synergy is not there yet. You understand? It reminds me of the 1848 revolutions in Europe when they were trying to take away the monarch system. The failure of that revolution was because the liberals that were coming in with Republican ideas were not coordinated. So, and the monarch were able to defeat them and dislodge their movements, though they will come back years after. So but the message was out, the spirit was out. In Nigeria, the message is out, the spirit is out. You understand? It's now the only thing missing is coordination among the youths. If they continue to go separate ways, the elders will continue to defeat them or infiltrate their rank, putting their children or allies of their age brackets in between to now dominate. But we will get there one day. I hope it will be soon. But now, thank God, his likes will continue to maintain that tempo. Continue to make their voice heard. He's on radio now. It should remain so and be consistent with it. You understand? And of course, people like us who are also proponents of ideas like that, we always give them the support. And they should forget this idea that the old people is not giving them the chance. They're not holding your hand. You just need to be more coordinated. You understand? Our system is monetized, but that is only for the mega party. INEC is not charging for nomination form. It is the parties that do. You understand? And just go for smaller platform. Begin small. Don't begin small with your capacity. If your capacity is just a word, don't say you want to go to the constituent level. You are not going to win. Start at the ward level, make a name for yourself, and begin to grow from there. I told you, Faye lost the mayorship, but he had made a name for himself, and he grew from there. And things, when there's a way, circumstances will just work in your favor. But it will only work in your favor if your name is already out there in the public space and in the mind of your people that believe in your ideas.
Yes.
So, but if you have been keeping quiet or you have not been showing yourself forth, they will go for another an alternative. That is what these old people are enjoying, because a good number of them have household names which they bear, and they are representing parties that is already in the consciousness of a lot of people, and that's why they've been the one holding sway. But the process has begun. We need to consolidate on it, and one day we'll achieve it.
Now, still staying with you, Mr. Adesumbo Badejoko, you raised the issue of money politics, of the fact that our politics has been monetized. Don't you think that will remain a serious challenge for young people who don't have money as such?
I just told you that it is there. The only area where they will have issue with money is because of the poverty in the land. Voters still have this mindset that, well, politicians are useless. So at election, money on my hand before I vote for you. You understand? That is what they will have to deal with. And they can deal with that through mass orientation and education of these people. You understand? That doesn't require much money. All they need to do is go into those community, reach out for their age mates that will understand them very well, who are also voting population and may not have been voting because they have the numerical strength. The people that will collect money are the old people who are hungry. You understand? But young people would key into that ideology, and even if they collect the money, they will still vote their conscience. You understand? A good number of his age brackets were offered money in this last election, but they did not vote for those that gave them money. That is what we're talking about. So if they keep looking at that, power is never served a la carte, and power is never given freely by the oppressor. It is the oppressed that will wrestle it and take it from them. That is the issue. You understand? That they have to have at the back of their mind, and I think a good number of them have that orientation already. They just need to begin to spread the message, reach out for their youths. They can even form a movement that will be different. You understand? From the regular platform that he contested under Labour. If Labour is not already, Labour is having crisis because of the infiltration that the regular politicians have brought into it, they can start a brand new movement that will be 100% theirs, and they decide how to run the party, and the agenda and the objective and the ideology will be 100% their own, not the one handed over by some old politicians who are just there to make mischiefs.
All right, to Mr. John Njoko, would you say that the youths are really springing up when it comes to political participation in Nigeria? Would you say that the youths are coming up really to be part of the decision-making process of the nation, based on what you have seen over the years?
Yes, they have tried, but let me just say this. It's not now. The former Minister for Communication, Bayo Shitu, won an election even less than 25. He was NYSC, a youth corporate then. He won an election under the platform, I think, the Unity Party of Nigeria. Then. He was doing his NYSC. Anytime he comes here, ask him. So he was not, so the age, he was even much younger than that. And he did well. I'm talking Alhaji Bayo Shitu now. So there is nothing wrong with that, a lot of them. At least I said about Bayo Shitu, which I know too well. Yeah, from the book I read, he was doing his NYSC there. So that was why later someone dragged him to court. You didn't do NYSC. The court to say no, it's equally part of service that he was doing. So, you see, I love the courage of the youth. Just as we have said, they need to go further by sensitizing the people over this money issue. Some of them are really very serious. I can see them in some areas where I was. They mobilize themselves. They say, without this young man, we are not voting for any person. Going around to go and educate all those elderly people. I don't want to mention that name. So they can do better. Because you see that, don't let the money scare you. And don't let that age scare you. The future of this country, as far as I know, belongs to the youth. They are the one that will redeem this country. Not this type. Because all this time they will just come and give us promise. The youth will hardly come and give you promise and free you. Because he still has so many things to do. So they have a lot to do by educating those type of people. In some states, if Okada man won an election, not minding that you parade with everything, people say this is the person that we want. And so the youth I love their courage. They are doing well, but they need to go a little bit further. Just sensitize the people, those who are going to vote, organize themselves just like a mass movement. Labour Party now appears to be in crisis. I hope they resolve the crisis. Is politically motivated. Someone has to inflate. Then you need to sit down and then organize yourself. And you are going to achieve it. Just like this man didn't start. You can see how the president of Senegal is started, because that vision has been there from beginning. This is where I'm going to. He liaised with this man. At the end of the day, 10 days after, people say this is the person that we want. We are not going to any other place, because the president, the world, the system, it is the youth.
All right, to Mr. Faye Jimmy Benjamin, the question will be, what's the relationship between being young and excellent leadership skills? Is there any relationship between those two? Because there's always been on the front burner, okay, if we give young people the chance to rule the nation, would that make a difference? So the question is, what is the relationship between, age and performance in leadership?
All right, so let me start by saying age is just a number. And then being a youth is also a state of the mind. So we've seen many youth giving platform, and at the end of the day, they don't really perform up to expectation. So it's not about you being a youth. That's why we should give you a chance. It's about what's your precedence? What have you been doing? What can you show that you want to do? What are your manifestos? Before they voted Bassirou Faye, he gave his manifestos, and then people believed in him. So when I was contesting for House of Assembly election, I tried reaching my constituents. I tried going to the grassroots. I feel contesting for such election will make me get closer to my people based on the grassroots level. So I tend telling them what I've done so far. People ask me, Benjamin, don't just say you want to be coming in as state honorable in your state. What have you done? What are the things you've done? Have you served in any position before? I told them, okay, during my NYSC, doing my university days, my first degree, second degree, I've done this. So people like, okay, we believe in you. You can actually, you're up to the task. Then that's what I'm talking about, precedence. No, not that you're just coming and from nowhere, from the scratch, and you say you want to come up to leadership position. So being youth doesn't mean that people should believe in you, because people are trying to use this sympathy, because I'm a youth, that's why you have to.
So it's a thing of the mind for you. It has to do with the ideology.
Ideology, not because you're a youth, that's why they should vote for you. No. I was during the election, I was visible on Twitter, and then people actually know 25 years. I was using the name, the tag 25 years old candidate, the youngest candidate. And at a point, people called me and like, Benya, because you're 25 years old doesn't mean we'll vote for you. What are your ideologies? That was when I sat back and I stopped using the 25 years old. Before, if I want to post the 25 years old Benjamin Fitch, that was what I was using to push, thinking probably to cause a kind of sympathy vote for you. And in the part of where I contested, it doesn't work like that, because it's an Algerian site. People they are not even on Twitter. I'm not talking about that. Like 99% of voters, they are not even on Twitter. So it's not about Twitter or something. I had followers on Twitter. It was that last election I learned a lot, experience part of things we do, and I tend to understand that ideologies matters. You need to communicate what you want to do for them, and then let them reason together with you before they will say, okay, this is the person we want.
So it's not about the age. It has to do with your ideologies. Okay. Of course, that was exactly the same thing that Omoyele Show said in an interview with Newsman in a televised program, actually. And he said that it's beyond the age. It also has to do with your mind. It's possible for you to be young and still have some old ideologies, and he clarified that. But then he spoke here, and I'm taking this to Mr. Adesun Babadejoko. He said something about Nigerian youths, and I want you to give your thought with respect to that. But Nigerian youths, unlike what we have in Senegal, unlike what we experience in Senegal, are more interested in becoming PAs. So presidents becoming PAs. So that's basically what they're after, and that is why we're here to experience this kind of revolution, so to say, in our own political scenery. Your thought?
I'd already given my thoughts on that on another platform. And it was a phone-in program. Some people called to say, I shouldn't have spoken like that. So I said, come. I'm not old. My last birthday was 45. I know what I've been able to struggle to achieve for myself. To the glory of God, I am popular on here in Ibadan and Lagos in a way. And I've been doing this for about 6 years now. I'm so passionate about it. If I'm interested in carrying handbag for politicians, I meet a lot of them on platforms. I don't even call for their number. I don't even try to even struggle to take pictures with them. It's not pride. It's because I understand, based on my background as a political scientist, how they behave. Once you rush at them, they take advantage of you.
Yeah.
You understand? But once you stand your ground, they are the one that will come to you. It's better off that way. When they come to you, you negotiate from a position of strength. That is me. You understand? And that's where I disagree with him, because he did not do that. So why would you now say everybody, the Nigerian, when you make generic statement like that, you are bound to be corrected, because you just fell out of that age bracket few years back. You understand? He contested as a youth, 47. And before that, he had been a pro-democracy activist while he was in his 20s. You understand? So if he's saying that, that means he too has not done well, because he did not transfer that skill to people. He didn't influence enough people. Because if you have been doing something for 30 years and you started off at a very young age, and after 30 years you are saying that the population is preferring to do this, that is a failure on your part. I just started my own how many years ago, because I didn't have the opportunity that East like had. You understand? I had to first struggle to get education. You understand what I'm saying? Between my secondary school and matriculation was 7 years. That is to tell you the kind of struggle I had to go through. A lot of people did not enjoy that. He contested at 25. At 25, I was in 100 level. So when you see that, because of how I had to go through, and if you see the way he speaks, and the constituency had got to contest, it's more of a misfit, and that's why he would have, if he share more of his experience. No, I laugh when he mentions Southwest, this Ajebo. You understand?
I contested in Ido.
You understand? So when you say even Ido is even worse than Southwest. So when you look at that kind of situation, that's what we are dealing with. You understand? So when you now not consider what people had to go through, and you now make statement like that, you are unfair to that young population. You are unfair to his likes. You understand? Because if he prefer to carry handbag, he will not contest, for crying out loud. You understand? And along the line, he had met people who would have called him, come, I like you, you are brilliant. You understand? Come and become. You understand what they're saying? So he had refused that he would not, because he sees himself bigger than that. I was stuck in an establishment, and the first person I told about it looked at me and smiled and said, well, you know what? You are too big to work under that man. That statement struck me. And since that time, I have decided to do what? Raise myself higher. Because people out there are out there to take advantage of you. And Nigerian politicians are experts when it comes to that. So he too may be speaking like that probably because of his own experience. He had the best of opportunity that he could have, used very well. But as a youth, you must be humble. You must respect others, especially if you are from this part of the country. We cherish that a lot. So, and we believe in mentorship, tutelage. All these things would help. So if somebody is trying to surrender himself humbly for mentorship, you can't say because he's doing that, he's now carrying handbag prefers to be a PA. You understand? PA-ship is what some people did that brought them to limelight. Yeah. An example is Rotimi Amechi. That was what he was to Peter Odili. You understand what you are saying? And today, he was Speaker of Assembly for 8 years, governor for 8 years, minister for 7.5 years. But he started up as a PA and as a young person because he was in his 30s when he began all this. So when you look at that, you have to learn from those who are experienced. Somebody said that the shortest way to success is by following the footsteps of those who have successfully journeyed before you. So if you are not ready to follow anybody's footsteps, you will get lost. Because it's just that you must know whom you are following. You understand? That is your own assignment is to scan through, select. Before I can see you as my leader, you must have what I do not have. That I know I need. That is the number one condition. Not your wealth, not your level of education. I've spoken in several platforms and people will come and ask me, please, what's your qualification? I met somebody of recent, the first thing he said, I thought you are older than this. So when you say things like that, it's because of the way I have carried myself. That is what people will look into. You understand? I've tested contests in student juniorship and some of those things. I didn't win, but I was given some appointment and, okay, this is a capacity where I could serve and I did the little I could do. So some people may not be that favorable when contesting. But if you put them maybe on a position of appointment, they would deliver. That doesn't mean if they contest, they would win. Ken Saro-Wiwa was an activist. You understand? Very popular in the whole country. But when he was to contest a constituent assembly election in Ogoniland, where he's from, he lost. It was surprising to you. He lost that election. So that's where some people is. That means, look, at the home front, some people have this resentment towards him. Maybe I show Nikoni, you understand? Is it the only one? So that will be there that you have to deal with. But that notwithstanding, you need to see beyond all those things. All you need to do is to what? Make yourself attractive, make yourself interesting to people, and possess as much as what they need in leadership as possible. So those are things that will make them to get convinced about your person.
All right, Mr. John Njoku, what's your own take as regards what the convener of African Action Congress said, talking of Omoyele Sowore, that, well, the youth, the younger populace, are more interested in appointments, becoming peers, instead of contesting and really, taking the bull by the horns?
Well, let me just say, he doesn't need to generalize. And what is even wrong in being a PA? Just as we said, Rotimi Amechi was a PA to Peter Odele, later Speaker for 8 years, and Governor, and later Minister. You have to start from somewhere. If you being a PA that will make you to be the Governor, what is wrong with that? I've not seen that one now. I cannot begin to say, but my own is that it should not generalize. Apparently, it's on to every youth that because you don't have anything, it's just to become a PA. And that is wrong on its own side. For him to have generalized all those words to the entire Nigerian youth.
All right, now to Mr. Faye Jimmy. Your own take as regards what Omoyele Sowore said, that you guys are interested in becoming PAs instead of contesting.
Let me come from the angle of when I was contesting. There is a particular candidate, not even the one that won, met me and be like, Benjamin, why are you contesting? Let's form a consensus, and when I win, I'll make you one of my hate. I was like, so I looked at myself and like, Benjamin, one of my hate. So I told, there was a day we had debates of all the contestants, then all the candidates of different political parties running for election in my constituency, and I was even telling the sitting honorable, I was telling him that he's not performing well, he should step down for me. I was telling him to his face. Well, because I felt I have more ideas than him. It's not about being proud or anything. Because when you can deliver, I didn't see less of myself. He might be older, he might have more money, he might have more, but I feel
political weight.
Yeah, I feel I can do better when I comes to the office. And we are still close, and I still tell him, I still give him my advice. Why don't you do it? We say, Benjamin, go and sit down. You are not in the system. Not that I'm not in the system. When I come in, this is what I would do. This is what I think I've been on your platform, and you are asking me what I want to do based on agriculture, based on this and that. Normally, as House of Assembly member, you are not allowed to do some sort of project, but you have to carry out policies that will be beneficial to your people. I don't expect you, as member of the House of Assembly, going there to be sitting down and not saying anything throughout the plenary session. It's not possible for me to be in the house, and I won't be a noisemaker, but
Sit down, look.
I will keep the governor to his toes. I will make some policies. My voice will be heard. It's not possible. I'll go there and be sitting all through, and then you are expecting constituency allowances and blasting it anyhow. So to me, if becoming essays to the president, essays to the governor is also a pathway to also having experiences. I've served as departmental president during my undergraduate studies. In my postgraduate, I've served in different capacities, and these are part of experiences that we also need. Because there is no way we can have this experience. I'm 26 now. How do you expect me to gather experiences if I have not been involving in some things? So if I have opportunity of becoming an estate to the governor, I will definitely put into it, because it's part of the experiences I'm also building.
Nothing is
bad
wrong.
about
Yeah,
that.
nothing bad about that.
Nothing
So,
is
Mr. Adesumbo Badejoko, the argument against youth's involvement in politics or youth becoming leaders of the nation over the years has been the fact that they lack the experience to do so. They don't have the requisite experience. But let's take a look at Bassirou Faye. Never had any serious political position, so to say, save for the fact that he was a tax inspector, But then, he's now the president. So, do you really need experience, so to say, when it comes to becoming the leader of a nation?
In respect to Bassirou Faye, he has experience. You said he was just a tax inspector. That position in the Senegalese arrangement is not an ordinary position.
It's not small.
You understand? He had worked with governments, audit their books and all of that. That's why you could see that, no, this is wrong. I can do better than this. But that's part of what triggered his ambition. You understand? So he knows what he's going there to do. And even before he swine in, he had already thrown a jibe at Macron. That guy, come, forget Senegal for now. I'm coming to do things differently. You understand? So when that shows that he's coming with ideology. He's coming with a blueprint, a plan, a vision. You understand? So forget that kind of experience. Now let's come back to Nigeria. How old was Gowon when he became the head of state?
29.
And he was there for 9 years. 9 complete years, because the day he came in was the day he was removed. So
29, 75.
You understand? So
9.
Apart from the Civil War episode,
No, it was part of it now.
You understand? You cannot say Gowon did not. Some people even say Lagos was at the place Gowon left it when when he was head of state in terms of development. That's what some people will tell you, because National Stadium, National Theatre, all the bridges, apart from the third Milan Bridge that Babangida came and had to hit, the others were constructed by him. You understand? So and all these major ways, the Ikorodu Road, Agege Motor, those Apapa Oroshoki, those are the big roads that you can, when you say you're in Lagos, you have to move on those roads. You understand? So when you look at that, and it's going 29 years or 30 years, when he came in, and it was not all their generation took offices at a younger age. In fact, I'm too old now at the age I am. By the time, and if they were holding those offices, Nigeria's population had been big right from independence. We're around 60 million at independence. So it's not a small country that he was heading at that age. So what experience did he had other than being a soldier who was trained to go and fight in war, and an officer that has some intelligence training? But this is pure administration and public administration, not even ordinary administration. And he had to deal with budget and every other thing.
So you don't need so much experience.
You have people in the system that you look out for, that will do the work for you.
Yes.
Yours is to make critical decisions. You understand? That is, you need your brain. You
Basically.
understand? There are people that will have the experience that they are talking about already in the system. The civil service they were the ones that go and use. You understand? That's why some of them became super permanent secretary in quotes. You understand? Because they take advantage of his young age and naivety to do certain things too. But the bottom line was that he governed. And if they are saying we are too young, let them put me there and see whether I will deliver or not. That is the thing. But I don't want to believe that idea that you need Seyi Makinde was never in government. Do you want to tell me that he's not doing well as a governor? You understand? He had people in the system that, yeah, there are some things he may not be doing right, but that is his own personal decision. He chooses not to do those things in the way we expect. But the ones that he's doing right, it's also his decision that, okay, no, this is what I believe in. Do you understand what you are saying? So you don't need those things like that as a core thing. If you really need it, then you will not be saying that all you need as an academic qualification is school start. Should have put it at master's or PhD. Those who have given you enough experience before you get to those level of education. But it is not really, it's important. It will be an added advantage if you have it. But it doesn't mean you are going to fail if you do not have. Because you are going to be running a civil service with people, filled with people who have been in the service for years. All you need to do is identify the ones that are upright among them, bring them closer, and those will be your advisors.
All right, Mr. Jordan Joko, do you believe that you don't really need so much experience, so to say, to talk about the leadership reins of a nation?
You don't really need it. What you got to do is just to have people, like just as he has said, everything will not be done by you. That's why you need to engage some experts. And you have people already in the service already. Just as you said, the Go One issue you were talking of, it was people that made him. Because even engaged the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo was in charge, the Minister for Finance and all that. He engaged people who are already into the system. Just like as we are talking, this man is a barrister and he's a status in Senegal. You don't need to teach him anything. And he knows where to get those people around him. And the job will go on. Even the Go One, you are even saying nothing, if we talk of education, it was after when he was removed. He went to, I think, Britain or somewhere where you read the political science. They were all. So what was and they got people who are more educated than them that were even doing this. So this thing has nothing like maybe experience or whatever. Like the Senegal we are talking, this man is a barrister, the learned college, so he knows the way to carry on.
All right, so Mr. Faye Benjamin, do you need experience as such to be part of the decision-making process of the nation, or better still, to take over the leadership reins of a nation?
Yeah, you need experience, and you also need those with higher experience around you, because you can't do the job without anything on your head. Because, for instance, now when I wanted contesting, I sorted for mentors. I went to them, and even those in my constituency, I feel they are doing well. Because also youth have to be very careful when we are saying we need people that also have more ideas. They might take advantage of that, later becoming godfathers to us. So that is another point. At the point at which you reaching out to say, because people will feel, let's use him, let's push him there, and then we'll start dictating through him. And then at the end of the day, it will bounce back on you, because it will be your name that will be spreading all around that you are the one in the seat, and then you are not doing anything, not knowing that you have those at your back. So, but in the aspect of experience, we also need, not that you should come in with an empty brain in the name of we don't need experience, but you have to know what you're doing, you have to be upright, and you have to have good people around you to be able to do the job perfectly.
Now, you raised the point of godfatherism. Don't you think that's another challenge, militating against youth involvement in politics?
It's because what we feel about godfatherism, these are people that we feel can sponsor our own election because of monetary issues. I had problem of funds too during my election time. When people ask you can't run election, I want to run House of Assembly election, you are telling me to be dropping hundreds of thousands at different locations. It means I will be spending nothing less than like 100 million if I want to run successfully, because I will be to the landlord association. You tell me to drop 100,000. How many landlord association will I be dropping 100,000 before I win an election? So that's another point at which youth have to sit back and see how we can cross that, and how we can solve that issues by sensitizing the people. It's not about the money you want to get now. I've seen people telling me to do road for them before they will vote for me. Where they wanted me to get the funds to do road. It's not even my duty as House of Assembly member to even do road. I can just create policies, and that's one of the sensitization we have to really do well
for people to understand the functions.
Your function is to make law. That's all.
All right, to Mr. Desumbo Badejoko, well, your own thought as regards godfatherism. Some people believe that there's no way we can leave that out of our politics, or take that out of our politics rather, the belief that there is an ideal kind of godfatherism. Your take?
It's part of democracy. I told you, even Faye had to consult the likes of Abdoulaye Wade, who was the third president of Senegal, and had his own son also. And I had to persuade the son to step down, come. I think this guy is better than you. You can still come up later. You understand? That's a form of godfatherism. When Obama was coming up, Bill Clinton, Jimmy Carter, all of them supported his ambition. They gave him advice and intels and as to what to do. They've been part of the system. They gave him some orientation. You understand? Just as Benjamin has said, our own idea of godfatherism ends as sponsorship. But godfatherism, in the real sense, politically, it has to do more with mentorship. You understand? Being a role model to somebody who is coming up, and you must have something in common with the person that you are approaching to be your godfather. You understand? That's what bounded Faye and Sonko together was the ideology. You understand? That one is a Zegbon,
Yeah.
like 5 years older than him. We understand? But ideology bounded them together, and the bond was so strong. That's why when he could not pick any other person as his prime minister.
Yeah. Does not
Because
The ideology is the same.
Yeah,
Bed of the same feathers.
you understand, you see them working together. So that is one thing. Like I told you earlier, or I said earlier right here, that if you are going to lead me, there are somebody that I work for now that I cannot follow as a leader because I've looked through. It doesn't have certain things, or it does certain things that I detest in leadership. If I see you with that mindset of oppression, or you want to be using people, I will keep distance from you. You understand? I want people who are selfless as leaders. You understand? Because that is the kind of people I want to align with. Is what I'm training myself to become, to influence people positively, to think about them before myself. So if I don't see you having such quality, that maybe when there's a proceed of 100 naira and you are not even declaring it, and when you declare, you are declaring 20 and I can see this, and because you think it's your turn, I will not move close to you. So that is what godfatherism should be. You look at the person from someone that can mentor you, not someone that will sponsor you. You understand? There are people that doesn't have money but have influence in communities. Reach
Yeah.
out to them. When all they need to do is have interest in you. That's all. They will not take your money. They have them all over communities that these people with money even come to meet. You understand? It's a matter of them saying, oh, they will tell those ones they have had them, but they will support the one that does not have money that they believe in. So that is my take on it.
All right, so Mr. John Njoko, can we really have the ideal kind of godfatherism? Because it's more like we can't do away with it
We
in our
can have
political
it.
scenery.
Yes, we can have it. Only just like you must have the same ideology, and your godfather must be the same person that has the same ideology like you. That is just all about someone who believe in you, who believe in your own ideology. Because when you see what brought these two men together, they have the same ideology. So immediately there you just have to bring them. If you want a godfather, someone must be someone who believe in you, who believe in your own ideology. Particularly the youth. You don't go to someone who knows has another way to go, and you have the person that believes in your own, and that your ideology must be what we talking about the welfare of the people. Just as he has said, that he's not going to say maybe money, but who believes in you that says, yes, this is what you say and this is what you are going to do. Those are the ones that you should be looking at too.
All right, now to Mr. Faye Benjamin. How can youths mobilize and organize such that they will be able to take over the leadership reins of the nation? Because, of course, just like what we saw in Senegal, how can the younger populace in Nigeria also achieve the same thing, taking a cue from what happened in Senegal?
Okay. if I have my way, if probably I'm part of those decision makers of the country, I would have just passed a probably pass a bill for independent candidacy, because I believe if there if you are in a particular structure, a particular political party, it can mar and it can make you as a candidate.
Okay.
Because we knew what happened in the last election. Not only in my political party, other political parties, it also happened there. You can say you are a right candidate. You can say you've mobilized. You can say, because I believe in movement. It happened. My own presidential candidate then happened because there was a movement that supported him, and we saw what the movement and the political party, the the ideologies are not aligned.
Crossroads.
Yeah, if there is a room for independent candidacy, the movement would have gone on a separate way, and they would have known how to assemble themselves and how to go about the election, and it would have been so perfect. But now, a candidate is coming up, and then the political party is coming up, then the ideologies are not aligned, and how do you expect success? So now, when we are saying we are coming up as youth, we are still going to use a political platform, even if we want to gather ourselves. And what about if the political platform is not favoring us? So it will mar our efforts. So these are some of the disadvantages of this. Not that we cannot. What happened in the last election? The vibes is still there. I believe youth are still hungry to take over seat of power. We are still hungry to take over. But what happened after bringing up ourselves? What will happen at the end of the day? The same set of people in the political party will go out and take money and mad the efforts. So what's now all the energies we put in, what's now everything all about?
Oh, sorry to pardon me to interrupt your train of thoughts. Do you believe that youth have that level of synergy? Youth in Nigeria, that level of unity.
With what happened in the last election, I can say categorically that 60% of youth, at least, they are in one accord. People slept in polling units because they want to vote for their preferred candidates. It has never happened before in Nigerian election. People have been there. People volunteered. Even me myself, I know how the energy I invested in, because I believe in a political candidate. The energy I invested in it, sleeping in villages, because I wanted without getting anything. We use the word shishi. We are not being paid for it, and then we still went forward to do it with joy. And you see people, when you call people, let's go out to campaign, people will still follow you with joy without even giving them anything. And that is, I think we are beginning to get it right. And then next coming election, probably, let's see if independent candidacy can be allowed, probably we'll get it better. I don't know.
Mr. Adeson Walijoko, what would be your advice to the youth as regards taking over the reins of leadership? How can they organize and mobilize such that they'll be able to take over power?
First thing is that they have to consolidate on the gains, which they've recorded in the last election. When I say consolidation, means that they need to go back to drawing board, evaluate the whole process of the last election, and look at their strengths and weaknesses, see on how they can maintain the strengths and also improve on the weaknesses, and the areas where they have not spread into. For now, there's still a huge divide between this north-south dichotomy is still there. And so they have the northern population to penetrate. There are young, vibrant people up there too who will key into these ideas. They need to break the yoke of ethnicity and religion. So if they can do that, and that they need to have this can-do spirit, that is also missing. Some of them chicken out at the dying minute, and it shouldn't really be the case. Youth are meant to be fighters. So they need to have that fighting spirit, the can-do spirit. And of course, that positive mindset that, no, this can happen. These are what has worked for those who had, even the president. One thing that made him president is not this, that Emilio speech has more of can do inside of it. You understand? But people didn't understand it. And I was monitoring his utterances during the campaign. You see him, he never mentioned anything positive, negative. And he never makes statement of probability. He was making assurance because he believed it is possible. You understand? Even when he lost his base, he was not even disturbed with that. He kept saying something. So that is one thing to learn from. I know, and scripture says, as a man thinketh in his heart.
So he is.
So he is. Even Yorubas will say, "Akpemora
Lankpete
You understand? So they need to have that positive mindset and disposition to whatever they want to embark upon. And they also know that it's not going to be an each-free contest. And they also know that it's a contest. There will only be one winner. And if you lose, you may recontest that office, you may decide to jack up. You always talk about Abraham Lincoln. Yes, he kept moving up. Despite the defeat, he kept moving up. And he only contested the presidency once. And he won the election. Faye too lost a mayorship. And he straight up to presidency. And he won the election. So there are countless examples for them to emulate. You understand? And I'm sure the person that is going to be his arch enemy now had influenced him while he was younger. Talking about Emmanuel Macron. They are going to be at loggerhead. But Macron's emergence influenced his likes in Senegal. Because he came also as a movement, adopted a platform, became the president. He was already won the election before he now began to build structure. So that has influenced, and it was the year Macron emerged that Passive as a party was formed. So these are things that you also they should look at all of these and begin to learn. They should reach out to like minds who may not be in their age brackets. Like, as many as I know that knows what they are doing, I will support them. You understand? Because the most important thing that is bounding all of us is what? Good governance, development. That's what Nigerians have been plagued with. We have been having bad governance, and that's why we have been developing, in quotes, on the negative side. We have resources, human capital, material, but they are being channeled wrongly, and that's why things are not working the way it ought to be.
All right, so Mr. John Njoko, let me have your own thoughts as regards that as we round off this aspect of the conversation.
Well, he mentioned about the independent candidate. It was actually one of the recommendations made by the late Justice Lawal Waste report to the Yaradua government there to employ. So it is the National Assembly that have decided not to do the right thing. There was actually a recommendation to that effect since many years ago.
It's deliberate.
Yes.
It's
So
deliberate.
maybe we have to remind him
they
when
will not-
Yaradua lost.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
They will not be able to control
Yeah.
an independent candidate.
So
About movement.
because
they will
of
not.
the movement.
It's
But I'm
because
just saying
control.
that there was a recommendation to that effect, so that they can, but there are some deliberately being done for some political reasons, and begin to talk of can it happen here. Find the youth ought to, and that's why I said the problem lies in the youth. That is, they have to take away religion and ethnic. What happened there cannot happen here. Don't forget, what happened there was because they are predominantly a Muslim nation, Senegal. So they do not think of whether and the tribe. Here in Nigeria, just as you said, it will be difficult for someone, if you are from a Christian from this part of anywhere south, to penetrate the core north. It's difficult. Not east and the northwest. It is difficult. Go and check the result from the Labour Party. You'll be just a few states from the middle, Plateau and the Nasarawa. To go to north is difficult. And they tell you that they control the majority of the vote. So such thing happened. Here it is difficult because already we are divided on ethnic and religious line.
Yeah.
So there's no how. So if person says it will happen, it cannot happen. Look at the election last year. Of course, each went to their own ways. The same thing do next year election. It doesn't matter what any person can predict. It is going to be the same way. Because someone a man from there, they follow. The same thing. So the president know why he had decided to choose Muslim is for political calculation. He did it well. Because here is settled. That place is what matters. And so he won the election. So talking about Emiloko, he knew it was his own turn. Don't forget when Buhari jack up Naira and everything, he said, it was okay, whatever thing you do, it is, I'm the one. Because he was so cocky. He had done the work already. So no matter, nothing would have stopped him from being the president. Everything begin to work according to his plan. Begin to cause problem within PDP itself that they could not resolve themselves. So he was cocksure. Emilio, he said it in Anabekuta. He knew why he said Emilio, it is my own time. Whether heaven fall or not, I'm the one. And he actually is there today because he has that vision. So you must have that vision. But such a thing, take away ethnic and religious bias in this country.
But
what happened there can happen here.
Just a few seconds before we let go of this conversation, before we lay to rest today. Well, talking about tribal and ethnic affiliation, there was a time in Nigeria when people from all walks of life voted for a candidate, 1993. Of course, a day that has now become a public holiday. June 12th, the man MK Abiola was voted by Nigerians from different ethnic groups. You know, that was not a consideration. Do you think that we can still have a replica of that situation?
That thing came up then. If you could recall, MK was already beat. He was seen as a non-tribal, a philanthropic, you know. Whether you are doing anything in Calabar and Igbo land, the man will find himself there. Whether you are doing anything in Kano, he will find. He was a known philanthropist. So when that election came, coming, and the person that appeared with him, Tofa, was just unknown. The person, Ibrahim Tofa, someone Tofa was just an unknown person.
Bassirou Tofa.
Yes, Bassirou Tofa. And many of the political heavyweight that and definitely belong to the PDP. I mean, to the Social Democratic Party. So when the election came, even at that, there were some areas that he could even not penetrate. You know what I'm talking. So it was equally a regional something. Fine, he won the majority of the vote. But there were some areas that even the Social Democratic Party too couldn't go. Record that when they are not that election. The same set of people say if you revisit June 12th, then we go. Was it not based on ethnic? They say if you revisit June 12th, we are going to stay on our own. They had a meeting, say, do not visit because Nigeria was already divided on ethnic lines.
So tribal and ethnic affiliation remains a challenge.
It remains a challenge.
All right, we have to put ladies to a rest this morning. The program is still Voice of Liberation on Pensioners 106.7 FM. We'll go for a musical break right now. We'll be right back.
future. You're so worried about the food to eat. You're so worried about so many things. Oh, so many things, 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 so many things. Hey, worry, worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Never, never worry. Worry, worry, worry. Don't worry, my brother. Don't worry, my friend. Don't worry, my sister. Don't worry, my friend. Don't worry, my brother. Don't worry, my friend. Never worry, my sister. Don't you worry, my friend. Just turn it up. Just turn it up. Just turn it up. Just turn it up. In the morning, you worry, worry, worry. In the evening, you worry, worry, worry. In the night, you worry, worry, worry. Hey, you're so worried about the family. You're so worried about the future. You're so worried about the food to eat. You're so worried about so many things. Yeah. So many things. Yeah. Worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Never, never worry. Worry, worry, worry. Never, never worry. Worry, worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Never, never worry. Worry, worry, worry. Worry, worry, worry. Never, never worry.
Pensioners FM.
I'm here for the peace of this country and to pray to God to touch the heart of each and every one of us so that we can be able to achieve peace in Nigeria.
We fought a war to keep the country one. Was it going to remain one?
At any cost. It must be one Nigeria where every Nigerian can feel proud.
If we come together, we can move this country forward.
That positive outlook and determination to make Nigeria a peaceful and prosperous nation. It is due to this collective attitude that Nigeria definitely continues to remain a united and indivisible nation.
Making up the team are Nigerians from across ethnic lines and religions. The awe-inspiring dribble from the Igbo man, the through pass from the Hausa player, the goal by the maverick Ishekiri guy, or the striker of Yoruba origin, all count for Nigeria. No matter where we come from, no matter what faith we profess or what language we speak, we have Nigeria in us. We are Nigeria, and indeed Nigeria is us.
It is time.
Pensioners FM. This is Africa's model.
Our business is to speak for the voiceless and demand better deals for the vulnerable. Stakeholders must be alive to their responsibilities to the people. If they are not, we will shout. The program is Voice of Liberation on Pensioners 106.7 FM at Bassirou, Onireke, Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. Have you learnt a voice today?
You're still on to Voice of Liberation and Pensioners 106.10 FM. Thank you so much, dear listener, for sticking around. And of course, there's still my guest right here with me in the studio. I have Mr. Desun Babadijoko right here with me in the studio. I have Mr. John Njoko, and of course, Mr. Benjamin Faye Jimmy right here with me in the studio. Thank you for staying with me, Sas. So let's move forward now and let's talk about some pertinent issues right here in Nigeria. And this has to do with the increase in electricity tariff, primarily for Band A users. And according to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, this will only affect about 15% of the nation's population of electricity users, basically. So it doesn't apply to everyone. As such, we have Band A, we have Band B, we have Band C, we have Band D, we have Band E. Band A customers are those who receive 20 to 24 hours of electricity supply daily. Band B customers enjoy 16 to 20 hours of power supply, while those in Band C receive 12 to 16 hours of power supply daily. Band D subscribers benefit from 8 to 12 hours of power supply each day. Then Band E subscribers enjoy 4 to 8 hours of power supply each and every day. For some of us, we don't even have a band, obviously.
Yes.
You know, that is the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, where exactly is my own area under this band?
Bandless community.
All right, so let's get straight to the conversation, starting off with Mr. Adesunpo Badejoko. The argument of some people has to do with the stratification. Why do we have to have Band A, Band B? Why is it that some people tend to enjoy more power supply than the others? And to some people, that is classism. Do you see it from that perspective?
Yes, and it's because of the grid system that we operate. There's no way they will not do that. We have multiple sources of generation or sources of generation, and we have multiple sources of distribution, but we have a single grid. So when you have situation like that, there's going to be rationing, and rationing is what gave rise to the bands. Or the band stratification, so to speak. And of course, you have discos, about 12 of them, of which only, I could say, less than 4 are actually, we could call them discos. The others, they are just criminal companies that are exploiting people. Because the idea was, they took over the whole asset of PHCN. The question we as consumers should be asking them is, come and tell us. What investment have you made in terms of facilities, in terms of technology? You understand? And you have not put in money to invest. You are just ripping people off, and you are complaining about tariff that is not a global standard. Meanwhile, in the UK, for instance, you cannot see any electric pole anywhere. So how will you bypass an electricity supply cable that you cannot even see? Do you understand what you are saying here? Why have they not invest to get such a thing? You have not metered your customer. You are saying they are bypassing meter. How would they do that when you have not invested enough to do? That's why when you look at Lagos, for instance, the plan of the government is more effective in Lagos. They have enough discos, 2 discos, Lagos alone. And the one serving us here is covering 4 states. How do you expect it to be efficient? You understand? So that's the thing. In Lagos, your light goes off, and it's because you have out of unit. Pick up your phone. Pim, pim, pim. Light comes back on. It's not here. You have to go and queue somewhere where they will vent the pin for you. And you go to the meter and begin to press button. That is their own system, technology. So, and the one that complained the most is the one that is with us here. And when you have the band, so-called band, that band, hey, a good number of it are government institutions and companies and some private sector organizations that are on premium with the discos. There's a special line that they run to serve those people. And it is that line that is Banhei. But Nigerians will complain. Yes, we may not be on Banhei, but the services rendered by those on Banhei, we patronize those services. And they are going to push the costs on us.
Yeah.
You understand? So we will cry ahead before you allow them to do that, because electricity has inelastic nature. When, no matter the price, people will still go for it. And in Nigeria, we have, like I said earlier, one grid. They have signed a law to unbundle the grid, but not much investment has been made, and it will even take time. Before we begin to have multiple grid system, we'll be looking at like 4 to 5 years time before you see them running alternate distribution network and all of that. But when we get there, because I know we're just starting the conversation, but that's just the intro I can make for now.
All right, so Mr. John Njoko, your own take, would you regard this as stratification or classism? Why is it that some Nigerians have to enjoy a stable power supply, while some other Nigerians have to live in darkness, literally, or perhaps they may not even enjoy as much as they ought to?
I'm not even surprised by this government action, because I think it was February that Adebayo told us that the government was going to remove subsidy from this. And that was after 2 days before the IMF was calling for the removal of such things. So when it came up, I'm not surprised. Even the president said he will not reverse any of the economic decision that he has taken. And even the Band A, which you are talking here, the Band A users even more expensive than those in the United States of America. But my problem is that who are the ones going to benefit? It is the company that generates and distribute the generation, and the distribution companies are the ones that are going to benefit, while Nigerians are left to suffer. Like where I live for more than 7 days, 8 days now. We cannot say this is where we now belong. But let me remind you that they call it maybe the lower house of assembly, National Assembly, let me say House of Representatives, a few days came up and was urging the federal government to suspend it. Whether the government will listen to it or not, I don't know. But it is just unfortunate that Nigeria ought not to be passing through this harsh, intolerable condition now, because it's going to throw a lot of people out of the job, out of the employment, all this hair salon and everything. Because when you increase all these things now, they are definitely going to go out of the way. So what I'm saying is that when you begin to dance to the music of the International Monetary Fund, that is where we find ourselves like this. And I think the IMF is the de facto ruler of Nigeria, because if you check it, there have been whatever the IMF dishes out to them, they will follow. Subsidy removal, remove your naira to this. That is the intention of the government, and Nigerians are not even happy under this present situation of time. And I think because the same when people are silent, the government become oppressive. They have been giving us this because no action from anywhere. Just as you said it has come to stay. But let's watch the actions of the National Assembly, our representatives. That's what I told you a few days ago. The lower house, they call them lower house, the National Assembly, House of Reps, was equally against this federal government measures it has taken now.
Right to Mr. Mr. Benjamin Faye Jimmy, your own take as regards this.
I'll start by saying that it's only in Nigeria we have subsidy for everything. Imagine we paying the government. They are saying they pay 2.9 trillion for electricity subsidy in a year. So you pay subsidy for electricity, petroleum, everything subsidy, and then at the end of the day, we are not even seeing. You still keep borrowing, and now they said the Band-Aid now they increased their tariff from 68 naira to 225. How do you want them to cope?
66.
How do you want them to cope? And the same thing. Okay, talking about industries, I believe they are also part of Band A.
Of course, now
so
companies.
And then the manufacturing companies, they are the one bringing all these things we use in the country, and then at the end of the day, they increase the price of their goods. Then still bounce back on with the commoners, and then we need to still find extra money to get all these things. And there is inflation. People have been crying, or even now that things are not even. We are not talking about the increments later on that will happen. No, probably we'll be buying this pen that we buy for 100 naira. Probably it will turn to 500 naira per one. We are still even crying on the price of things now. what about in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and a month to come? What are we going to be saying? So government should look into this and think they should do a
this will only
reversal.
affect 15% of
15%.
electricity users.
15% that will affect the whole country. It's not going to affect the whole country. We're talking about industries now. Now they will increase the price of goods and services.
Of course,
they will increase the price of things they produce. So it will affect the common man.
All right, so let's talk about the implication of particular tariff increase. Mr. Adesumba Badejoko, what are the likely effects on the general populace now, whether you're on band A or you are, in fact, you don't even have any band? I mean, what are the likely effects on each and every Nigerian?
Before we even talk about the effect, the outcry is born out of the fact that the stakeholders in the electricity sector are not sincere. You understand? And that has created this distrust on the part of the people. The tariff we are currently paying, we are not getting value for it.
How did they even measure it?
You understand? Even the band A are not getting up to 20 hours as a claim. No, 20 hours minimum, 24 hours maximum. They don't get it as a claim. You understand? So when you now raise it up, because the impression they are creating is that even at that 235 naira to a unit, what you will use in 24 hours is still less than the cost of diesel, because most of these banned categories run on diesel, which is currently at an average of 1,500 per liter. That is the excuse. You understand? But when you say 235 will still be cheaper compared to diesel, they are trying to tell us that don't worry, it will not affect prices. Forgetting that these are people in business who also want to maximize profits. You understand? And who will do their own math. That is your math. Your math is that what is not going to affect us, but their math will be that no, it has increased it, and we are paying overhead of these amounts. And you want to subject them to a condition that they will have no control over. When they were using their diesel, they determine when to put on their generator and when they switch it on. Before they will switch it off, they have powered down all their equipment. You understand? But you now want to subject them to a situation where you will just strip the thing off on flimsy ground, grid shutdown, technical glitch, and they have not powered their equipment. And that surge that would generate as a result of that can spoil their equipment. Additional overhead, maintenance, unforeseen maintenance charges. All these things will fall back on us. You understand? Because they will no longer have control over the switch of this thing. So that is the situation. Except you want to give us an assurance that don't worry, 24 hours will be 24 hours or 20 hours, and if you are going to be an outage, we will notify you ahead, giving you the specific time it will happen, especially when there is no emergency. That's one in a way, but we do not have the technology to do that
to
yet.
inform, yes.
You understand? And that's why the best approach is to fully implement the new Electricity Act.
Yeah.
You understand? That would unbundle the grid, and the advice I can give to Nigerians now, especially those Band A members, you have the capacity to install alternative source of energy. Invest in them. Use that your money that you want to be collecting to invest. It will cost you at the initial stage, but in the long run, it will be to your advantage, because what they will be charging you per month now, by the time you multiply it in a year, it will be more than what you are going to invest once to put those things in place, and the following year you have nothing to spend on energy again. So that's the thing, because right now, big companies can get gas turbine of their own under the law to begin to power their industry. It is the supply of gas that they have to deal with, and gas is cheaper than diesel when you make when you do the math. So that is the thing that they should be looking in. They should not rely on this energy arrangement that they've been cheating us. They want to continue to cheat, and they are using this to test the ground. Once it's successful with this, they will bring other bands into it.
So do you see that? You see that happening?
I think if they succeed in this, they will do that with it before the year will end. And I don't know why Minister Adelabu would bow to the pressure from the discourse. They started the pressure under Fashola. Fashola resisted them. They had to go petition the presidency to remove power from Fashola's supervision. And the presidency agreed and changed that Ministry of Power, Works and Housing to just Works and Housing and put somebody else in charge of power. And since that time, the discourse have been flexing muscle. You understand? They even celebrated that movement then, that removal of Fashola from supervising over power, because the man was looking at it. You are not convinced. And don't forget, that was when government was giving them money to distribute meters. They collected the money, distributed half of the meter. They kept others in warehouse, and they are selling it now at exorbitant prices. Why would you not meter your customer? You understand what you are saying? And when you even bring the meter, when I buy it with my money, you say it's your property. Okay. Because the law gives you that right to do that. So these are some of the things that are wrong that need to be corrected. And the only way we can do it is to resist them as consumers, because we are the end users and we are the ones at the receiving end.
Well, still staying with you, Minister Adebayo Adelabu, in his own defense, said the government plans to remove all subsidies in the sector is to allow the thriving of investment in the power sector. He also said something about the fact that a humongous amount of money is being spent on subsidizing electricity. About 3 trillion naira is being spent. And if that is the case, do you think that we should allow this subsidy regime to phase out completely?
Now, for the sake of our listeners, it is true that government subsidize. And this is where the subsidy comes in. We have a generating capacity of about 12,000 megawatts. You understand? And we have a distribution capacity of around 4,000. Now, the 12,000 that is generated is not what is distributed. And we do not have a transmission capacity that can even transmit everything. So that is where the problem is. So the GenCos are claiming we have invested money in running costs to generate. And they are not buying up what we are. And this is current. It cannot be stored. As it's being generated, it's being transmitted, it's being distributed. Straight up like that. So government has been paying for the untransmitted energy, unused, so to speak, and that is the subsidy. Not that they are subsidizing what we are they are even collecting VAT on what you are paying on the bill. You understand?
Yes,
that is where the subsidy is. You understand? And it's so for the minister to be telling us to give him for investment. Which investment again? If they remove their hands, what the GenCos will say is that, well, for now we are shutting down operations. You have already passed a law. What the discourse can do is, okay, they look at areas, because the situation we have is you generate at Omotosho. You first of all send to Oshogbo. Where is Omotosho? Omotosho is along Ijebu-Ode-Ore Road. That is where it is. Oshogbo is in Osun State. We all know where Oshogbo is. You first of all send to that place to be connected to the national grid, and you now distribute from there to somewhere in Sanfara. Do you understand that situation? But now, somebody has acquired the plant in Omotosho. The person can look, okay, Omotosho is in Ondo State, create an alternate grid for himself, invest in that place, and give him the license to be distributing and supplying Ondo State. And if some part of Ogun, you understand, somewhere around the Ijebu Waterside and the rest of them, can also join, we make choice. If you don't do that, and that is the full implementation of the act, like the one in Aba now, it's not going to serve the whole Abia state. It's just 6 or 7 local governments. But those local governments will run perfectly, and that is even their industrial sector in the state. And that's why some companies are already looking for where to buy land very close to the place, or go all the way to Mount Pole and run it to where their factory is. I expect a government like Ogun State government to be serious because they have more of industry in the southwest now.
Yeah.
In fact, they are constructing more industry in Ogun than any other state in the country as we speak. But nobody is looking at how to quickly make power available for those industries so that they will be making production very cheap. So that is the thing. So what the minister is saying is an excuse, as far as I'm concerned. They should implement that Electricity Act fully and forget about those idea of that will shortchange people. There are some things that you can even maintain. If you have put them there and their purpose as a government is security and welfare, and all these things falls under welfare, and they are saying they cannot take care of it, then why are they there as a government? That's the question.
All right, let's open the studio lines for our dear listener to be part of the conversation this morning. 0908 111 1067. 0908 111 1067. That's the number to call to be part of the program. You can also drop your comments on our Facebook page, Pensioners FM. Once you type Pensioners FM on your Facebook app, you have the chance to watch us live and also give your comments. 0908 111 1067. That's the number to call to be part of the program. All right, Mr. John Njoko, like I asked the other time from Mr. Adesuba Badijoko, that, well, in his own defense, talking about the Minister of Power now, Minister Adebayo Adelabo, he said that this is to ensure the gradual phasing out of the subsidy regime, which he considers a major challenge in the nation's energy sector.
Well, the point is that the minister has all along been talking of subsidy removal from this way. So whatever he's trying to say now, just to justify his own position, as Mr. Badejoko has said. And the only way is that let them just visit that that act, that Electricity Act, and then to see what they will do. But the problem is now that their job there is for security and welfare of Nigerian citizens. And they must begin to look at the welfare of Nigerian citizens, particularly at this situation, at this particular time. The interests of the people should be paramount in their mind.
0908 111 1067. That's the number to call to be part of the program. You're still on to Voice of Liberation and Pension as 106.7 FM. All right, let's talk about this as we gradually round up the show this morning. Yeah, we saw a disconnection of power supply at the University College Hospital about some weeks ago. Now it has been reconnected anyways, and that led to all sort of reactions. The University College Hospital doctors threatened not to resume night duties. There was a disagreement between the management and the workers and all of that. But now that's not where exactly I'm going anyways, because the development on that is that power has been reconnected and everything is going on smoothly now. Of course, the Electricity Distribution Company, IBDC, disconnected power from the UCH due to alleged accumulated debt of over 400 million naira. That's quite huge. Anyways, now considering this recent hike in electricity tariff, don't you think this is more trouble, so to say, for this particular health institution knocking off the University College Hospital Ibadan? Mr. Faye Benjamin, let me have your own take.
Okay, for UCH not being able to, I don't know how true UCH is saying they've paid, and then later on the IBDC are saying that they've not paid. The contrast between them, for them not being able to sustain the former amount of money they are paying. Now you increasing it, how do you want them to be able to sustain it? It means there will be more strike. Patients will be at we are looking at losing lives. We are looking at doctors threatening to strike, to go on strike. So all these things will also fall back to the common, like now, before we, like what we said before about industry will some industry will fold up, lay off their staff. Those ones reduce workers. Those ones will go back home with nothing. So they should look at this and try to look at the effect to common man, not just taking decision that they think it's right to them alone. You should also look at the common man.
Yeah, Mr. Adesumabalejoku, your own take as regards that, what happened in the UCH in relation to the recent hike.
Two factors are responsible for what happened. Corruption and the bureaucracy. It's not that UCH cannot afford to pay. They generate enough money to even pay it. But corruption on the part, some people would want to corner the money and bribe the disco officials. Bureaucracy, in terms of the process it will take to sign the paperwork to get approval for the payments. So those are issues, and these are things that takes time. But I believe there's an understanding between the disco and the institution. Now, this new thing, if going by the explanation of the government or the Electricity Regulatory Commission, NACI, it will be cheaper to be on that band here with the new tariff than to be using diesel, because diesel, as we speak, is higher. But the problem is what I have analyzed earlier. The control of the switch will not be with them, and this is an hospital complex. Somebody could be in the theater where the light will go off. You understand that kind of situation? So they need to be very careful. Yes, light can go off even when we are using generator. There could be a technical problem. Somebody can sabotage the thing. Fuel can be exhausted and all of that. But a lot is not working in this country, and we have a long way to go in terms of even the way we think as individuals. You understand? Which is what will solve this problem in a way. But I don't see UCH. We even call it a private hospital, even though it's supposed to be a government hospital, considering what they charge and the amount of money you'll have to spend if you have a case there. May God not allow us to do so, because these are things that I've witnessed, and I don't even pray for my enemy to have anything to do with that complex. You understand? They have all the things they need. People qualify, but the stress is too much. So, but they generate enough money that can make them to be able to afford whatever energy costs that they are incurring.
All right, let me have your take as regards that, Mr. John Njoku, as we round off the conversation.
Well, just as he has said, yes, we have the bureaucracy and a little bit of corruption, because the bureaucracy, whatever the usage want to do here, they have to start everything we end in Abuja. It doesn't end within this Ibadan. Here, whatever document that everything we have to come from Abuja. But the point is that on this very note, you see, the patients are likely going to be those that all this, when you have increased all this thing, because part of the money you are equally paying there, electricity will be part of it, they charge you. Now it's going to be a burden on any person going there as a patient too. That is the only thing that I see. So they should consider, just as we have said here, the